Hello YouTube pipe community. So tonight I'm going to show you how I go about cellaring pipe tobacco. What I do is I go to the hardware store and I buy a couple of mason jars. Namely, I get the small jelly jar and the large jelly jar. And when I buy a new tin of tobacco, in this case I've got some Peterson nightcap. What I like to do is I like to take that out and spread it out on a plate. It's usually compressed in the tin. And take it out. As you can see, it's pretty compressed, and I like to fluff it up and get it all spread out and uncompressed. Boy, that smells good. And then I put the mason jars in the dishwasher, and I do a load of dishes and get them washed out so that they don't have any smell to them or any contaminants or anything, so that you're just getting the nice tobacco. So I'm going to take a jar out of the dishwasher right now. It's nice and hot. These are both right nice and hot now. And I take them and I dry them out real good. Get all the moisture out of the jar. Wipe it out real good. And then just loosely pack the jar with the tobacco. Like so. And then the smaller jar, this is going to be the cellaring jar. And fill that as well. And usually with a 50-gram tin, you'll get just enough to get both of these jars full. And what I like to do is I like to make a label from the original jar, and you can put this on a copy machine, or you can get a JPEG file from one of the tobacco distributors, like Smoking Pipes or so, or Pipes and Cigars, and shrink it down into a GIF file and print it out to the right size. And you want to get a nice good seal on the jar. And in this case, this will be my cellar jar of nightcap. Put that on as tight as I can. And If the jar is hot and it comes right out of the dishwasher, what will happen is the air inside the jar will collapse since it's hot and create a vacuum. And you will get a nice vacuum there for cellaring. And there's two types of aging that go along with cellaring. One is aerobic aging, which involves oxygen, and the other is anaerobic aging. When the oxygen inside the jar gets used up and gets absorbed by the tobacco, that's the aerobic aging. And the anaerobic aging takes place when the different tobaccos sort of meld and associate with each other, kind of marry with each other. And depending on how long you keep this in your cellar, the anaerobic aging will take place, and you will get a really nice, good age on the tobacco. And what I do after this is I put a little sticker on the bottom indicating the date that I cellared the tobacco. Today will be 3/7/20, which is the date that this has been sealed up. And then the other jar, of course, will be my normal smoking supply. And I will go through this probably within the next couple of weeks or months. I'll have to make another label for this. But this keeps the tobacco nice and fresh. If you keep it in these mason jars and seal them tight each time you take some of the tobacco out, you will get a really good preservation of the freshness of the tobacco. And if you want to air it out and let it dry out a little bit, you can do that on a plate like this, and that's fine. But be advised that as soon as you open this tin, the tobacco is going to start to oxidize, and if you just keep it in the tin, you run the risk of having that tobacco dry out, and it's not always good. I don't personally prefer tobacco that's too dried out. If I want to dry it out, I can take out what I want for my smoke and dry it out as much as I'd like. And the point is that the tobacco stays nice and moist and fresh from the time you open the tin. And that's how I cellar my tobaccos. And tonight I have about 5 tobaccos I'm going to cellar. I've got some Elizabethan mixture and some Peterson Irish cask, as well as I think that's about it. A couple of other blends that, and I'm going to have to make labels for them, but that's how I do it. If you've got a better system, please leave your comments in the bucket below. But this was advised to me by Russ Ouellette on pipesandscigars.com, and he says he always leaves a little bit of headroom in the jar for the anaerobic, for the aerobic the aerobic aging, and of course the anaerobic aging takes place once all that oxygen inside the jar is used up. So that's it. I hope that's helpful to you, and let me know if you think this is something you haven't heard of before. But I've got a whole lot of cellared tobaccos now. Each tin I buy, I always cellar a bit of it in these small mason jars and date them on the bottom. And someday in the future I'll indulge in that nice aged tobacco. So that's it for now. Take care, folks.